So our first inaugural webinar, our title is Superheroes Among Us. So Mr. Gordon Swaby is here today to join us in order to share with us his experiences and tips on how to become successful. So just an overview of Dream Jamaica. We envision a Jamaica where students are inspired and empowered to succeed and to positively impact on their communities. And our mission is to provide meaningful mentoring relationships along with educational and professional opportunities that will inspire and empower young people to pursue their dreams and to positively impact on their community. So our agenda today is that we're going to be doing our introductions. We have done that speaker presentation, then we'll have a Q&A, feedback, and then we'll wrap up. So Mr. Gordon Swaby is the CEO of EduFocal, and he can also give an overview of himself and give you guys a prep as relates to what he does and so on. So please welcome Mr. Swaby.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Richards. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gordon Swaby. As Ms. Richards had said, I am the CEO and founder of EduFocal Limited. EduFocal is an online social learning service for GSAT and CSEC students in Jamaica and the Caribbean. EduFocal uses this very cool concept called gamification to make learning fun. And gamification is the use of game-like elements in non-game contexts. So we use gamification in education, and we use two core parts of the gamification concept, a leaderboard and an experience point system. So students log on to EduFocal, they start taking questions, they earn experience points, which allows them to level up. While they're leveling up, they can win cool prizes, movie tickets, food vouchers, phone credit, and so on. While they're, after they've earned their experience points, they can, but they're ranked on a leaderboard, and they're essentially competing against their friends for the ¡1 spot on the leaderboard. The student that can retain the #1 position on the leaderboard for the longest period of time receives a $30,000 cash voucher from us annually. This culminates in an event called the EduFocal Excellence Awards, which we keep annually at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. So we've been doing this for the last 3 years. Next year will be 4 years. We'll mark the 4th anniversary of not only the EduFocal Excellence Awards, but the EduFocal platform and company.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Swaby, what are some of your superpowers? Like, what challenges you went through on your path towards success?
I would say that some of my superpowers are one, tenacity. Two, I guess ingenuity, being able to, think through things and implement them. I think that one of my developing superpowers is being able to get a team together to work well. I think that there is great challenge in not only attracting the right people in your space, but keeping and maintaining those relationships to have the best outcomes. So I would say those are some of my superpowers.
Okay. And for some of our students, well, most of our students, they might believe that they can't accomplish their goals or they're faced with certain obstacles and so on. What would you say to those students?
I would say to you that one of the most important things that you can have is confidence. You could be the most talented singer, you could be the most athletic person. Without confidence, you're going to have a lot of challenges. So the first thing that I think that's one of the biggest challenges that you'll have in life they're more internal than they are external. It has to do with more internal factors than it has to do with external factors. Sure, there are external things that will be challenging to you, but I think that once you can conquer certain things within, then everything else will seem almost, easy to overcome. So a lot of the challenges that we do have in life are internal things, whether it's low self-esteem, whether it's a lack of confidence, whether it's not, thinking that we're not good enough, that, it's not something we can accomplish. I think that once we as human beings can overcome these challenges, then, you're a cut above the rest and you can do it in life.
Okay, thank you for that. All right. For some of the students, that distractions, they can be distracted by certain things, whether issues faced at home, peer pressure, and so on. what recommendation or what suggestion you give to those students in order to overcome those things and to stay focused on schoolwork?
I mean, to be honest with you, I went to Home Technical High School in Manchester, and before that, I went to Knox College in Caroline. And for a very long time, I was a troubled student. I gave a lot of trouble. I was involved in fights. Wasn't doing my schoolwork with school classes, and I think that mind change came when I joined the cadets. I joined the cadet unit at Home Technical High. And my turning point. It gave me purpose, and I think that's what having purpose, not only as a teenager but as an adult, as a teen, having purpose is so important in life, because once you can create goals for yourself, it means that you will work towards them and you will have purpose. You can measure whether or not what you're doing is working. You can measure every single thing. So having purpose is important, and it will help to, I guess, keep you on track when when there are temptations around, whether it's bad, whether it's peer pressure, to do negative things. Because the thing about it is that you can have negative peer pressure, you can have positive peer pressure. If you surround yourself with people who are doing great things, then you're going to feel almost inclined to go ahead and do great things too. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Swaby.
Awesome.
Okay. So, everyone, Mr. Swaby, he has been working with his superpowers for a long time, and that's because he found a field he loves, and that's good, and that he's good at, right? So, how did you find this field? Like, how did you try out various careers before? What led you into this field?
So, I mean, I would say that I'm more technology than I'm education. I'm in education and technology, and I happen to fuse my love of education and technology into one. I love learning. I love the idea of learning, and we need to understand that learning doesn't only happen in the classroom. Me having this conversation right now with you is considered learning. We're both getting valuable. We're both getting knowledge and insight from speaking to each other and asking questions. Now, for me, growing up, my father, he encouraged me to to get to understand and to like the computer. He sent me to computer classes. I always, as far back as I can remember, I always loved technology. I love just trying the devices to see to see how they work. I was always fascinated by technology. I was fascinated by websites, how websites work.
Yes.
That has always fascinated me, and it's interesting that I'm in that field to this day. I started out by running this website. When we didn't start out, one of my main things was running a website called advanced-gamers.com. It was the largest video gaming resource website in the Caribbean at the time, and I started Advanced Gamers because I wanted free video games.
Yeah.
So I started, it grew the user base to about 6,000 or 7,000 people, and then we had I wrote to video game publishers in the USA, and they gave me video games to review and to keep. So that was beautiful because that's exactly what I wanted. So I mean, I think that's how I love, and even how gamification became a part of education.
Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so guys, Mr. Swaby has a Wikipedia page. Now, how many of us have a Wikipedia page? That's very cool, right? So, can you give us an overview of all of that? Like, how did you go about? Like, I don't know much about website, but could you give us an overview of your page? Like, what's about?
I didn't create my Wikipedia page. I tried editing it.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to edit your own page. According to Wikipedia, you have to be notable. You have to be considered a notable or important person to have a Wikipedia page. I don't think I'm that notable or important. I'm just a normal guy doing my thing. So I guess it's interesting that I do have a Wikipedia page, and I guess I'm honored to be able to have a Wikipedia page and to even be indexed on the Google. I think when you search my name, there is like a knowledge graph that Google has created. So I think that that's interesting. But for me, that is not. I don't do what I do for a Wikipedia page. I mean, at the end of the day, having a Wikipedia page doesn't change the world for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't aid in me doing what the mission that I have set on. So that's cool and that's interesting. And I guess that's the value that you get from just being involved in something that is innovative. And I'm thankful for that. But I don't get distracted by those kind of things. I don't get distracted when I'm featured in the newspaper. I don't get distracted when I'm written about. I mean, I just focus on being me and just being humble and, you know, focusing on the true mission.
Okay, so that's what keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
All of that drive and all of that. Okay, so I know we spoke about challenges as it relates to the students, but what are some of the roadblocks that you have encountered on your journey to success?
I think that my greatest challenge that I mentioned earlier about internal stuff.
Yeah.
Internally, I think that I've had moments where I've doubted myself, and those are the moments that have been, I guess, my negative experiences, you know, and when I do have confidence in myself, that is when I accomplish the greatest of things. So I think that having, you know, having those moments where I doubted myself have been an issue. Keeping the team motivated and encouraged and just working, that has been a challenge. Having a cohesive and well glued team has been a challenge for me. So growing a team, you know, so those are, I would say, are some of the challenges. I mean, Jamaica technological is not where we want yet, and that has posed some challenges. But you know, I love what I do. I'm excited about what I do. Every day I get up, I'm very excited. So it has been a great mission thus far.
Oh, very good. That's very good. So a part of this webinar is really to inspire, inform, and empower, right? We have spoken about certain success stories that you have, challenges that you went through, and so forth. But let's get a little bit more personal because I want to really inspire these students. Where are you from? Give us a personal journey into your life.
So I grew up in a small farming town in Manchester called Christiana. It's actually the second largest town in Manchester, not too far from Mandeville. So a lot of time people say, "Oh, you're from Mandeville." I quickly correct them. I'm not from Mandeville. I'm from Christiana, and that is important to me because that is where my roots. You know, that's my roots. That's how, you know, my family couldn't. That's where they made their living. You know, they could send us to school, and that's how. That's where my memories are, and I represent and rep for Christiana, not Mandeville. Mandeville is a great place, but I'm not from Mandeville. I was born in Mandeville, but that's as far as it goes, and I spent a lot of time in Mandeville, but that's not where I am from. I went to Sacred Heart Academy, which is a prep school, my Catholic prep school in Manchester, Christiana specifically. And then I moved from Sacred Heart Academy to Knox, and I was at Knox for 2 years and was wasting time, and my father decided to move me to Home Technical High School, and that's where I spent the balance of my high school life. After Homewood, I went to Knox Community College for a couple months, and then I moved on to UTech, where I was doing my bachelor's in computer engineering, and then I dropped out of UTech to pursue EduFocal. Yeah.
Interesting. And we have a lot of, that's very good because, you know, a lot of times persons say that mainstream education is the way to go. That's the only way you can be successful and all that. Even though it is good.
It is definitely good. Yeah. I would not encourage anybody to drop out of school. Yeah. Because we all have, you know, different circumstances. I didn't immediately start EduFocal and drop out. I was in school and doing EduFocal at the same time, and I saw that EduFocal could actually do well and, you know, pay me a salary and pay other people and grow. And that was when I made a decision. And another factor is I can always go back to college, and I'm still pretty young. I'm not 25. I'm 25 next month. So I'm still very young, and I have a lot of time left ahead of me to accomplish a lot of things. And if that includes going back to school, then I'm fine. So, you know, that's my journey. Both of my parents are professionals. My father is a businessman, has a number of businesses in Christiana. And my mother is a chartered accountant. She's also an entrepreneur. So both of my parents are entrepreneurs. And I've seen how they have grown as entrepreneurs, and I feel encouraged and inspired by them and what they've done. And I want to do better than them. And that is exactly what I'm working towards.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so since we're being specific, I know you gave us an overview of what EduFocal is, services that you render to people, but what is it that goes on day to day? What's the day-to-day activities like?
Day-to-day varies. I mean, I do a lot of thinking, you know, plan the strategy I'm planning. I do a lot of phone calls, read a lot of emails, respond to a lot of emails, do a lot of meetings, I do a lot of accounting stuff. I also try to be as involved in things that I don't do anymore. So dealing with data entry clerks, dealing with my assistant, dealing with my programmers, dealing with designers. I do things like this a lot. I do a lot of speaking engagements, a lot of traveling abroad and locally. So that's I think what my day-to-day looks like sometimes. So this year I haven't traveled a lot. Last year I went to about 7 countries last year. This year I've only been to 2 countries. I went to DC this year and I went to Calgary, Canada. So this year I've only been to Canada and DC. Sorry, Canada and USA, specifically DC. Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. So why did you choose this path?
I chose this path because it's a no-brainer for me. I love computers, I love technology, I love the internet. I love education. I love the value that people have gotten from education, and it gives me the flexibility to do to not have a 9 to 5, having to work for anybody. My mantra is always an employer, never an employee for a very long time, and for me that means that it is having that creator mindset, creating opportunity for others. That is where my default is, and that is what I strive to do.
Also, have you ever considered other fields?
No, my ultimate goal for EduFocal is to transform education in Jamaica. I want to, on the business side, list on the Junior Stock Exchange. I plan to stay on as CEO post IPOing for about 4 years, and then I'll transition to the chairmanship, stay there for another 4 years, and then I'll move on to other things. Who knows what that may be in the future.
So can you tell our students what are the potentials in this field?
There's opportunity to earn massive amounts of money. I wouldn't say that I'm overly rich. I'm okay. There's always room to grow, definitely. I want to be a Jamaican billionaire by age 30. So I'm working towards getting there. Yeah.
So if one of the students should come up to you and say, Mr. Swaby, what are some of the resources do I need in order to become successful? What would you say to them?
Tenacity, have a strong network, and read a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's very good. Okay. Suppose they should say, they're inspired by your work, they're inspired by your story. Mr. Swaby, how can I become like you?
I would encourage you to not become like me. I would encourage you to be yourself and do what is best for you. Strive to become the best version of you. When you look on at other people, be inspired by their journey, but strive to be the best version of you. So if you're at X place today, if you're a 7 today, make sure that tomorrow you're striving to be a 10. Okay. That would be my message to them.
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so just an overview. Mr. Swaby, he has been flying over the world, sharing his skills and scooping up awards, right? What are some of the awards that you have gotten? I know you mentioned some, but do you have any specific one that you want to highlight?
I can tell you some of them. I've been selected by gotten the Governor General's Youth Award, gotten the Commonwealth Award, I've gotten a PSOG 50 and a 50 award. I've gotten awards from UTech, Entrepreneur of the Year, top technology client, because I'm based at UTech. I've gotten, I was selected by the IDB as one of 10 innovators in Latin America and the Caribbean. So those are just some of the awards that I've gotten. Yeah.
So there's no doubt, guys, that Mr. Swaby is a superhero amongst us, right? And also, not only that, he is one of us. So it shows you that no matter where you're from, you're Jamaican, you can do it. And there's always potential out there. There are opportunities out there for you to explore and all of that. He hails from Manchester, so it's not like he's from overseas well, there's nothing wrong with coming from overseas, but what we want to do is to inspire you and to motivate you to say that, hey, you can do it, you can achieve your dreams. It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter the challenges, as long as you put the work in and others can identify those potentials in you, yeah, you can make it in life. All right, so Mr. Swaby, is there anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, never be deterred by the coarseness or the difficulty of the journey. enjoy the journey itself, focus on what you've accomplished, what you've done, and use that to inspire you to push forward and to be the best that you can be. That's really all I have to say. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Look forward to doing this again in the future.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so we aim to empower, educate, and to inspire students of Dream Jamaica. And a little about us, we're professionals dedicated to helping students identify their talents and leverage them for personal and professional growth. What we do in doing this is that we offer transformative programs, including mentoring and community service. Why do we do this? We do this in order to help high school students visualize and realize their dreams. And in case you didn't know, Dream Jamaica started in 2008, so we're entering our 8th year of existence. Right, so if you have any questions, you can just submit them, and we'll be more than happy to answer. All right, so just continuing on the overview. Our students range from ages 11 to 18 years of age. They are from forms 1 to 6 or grade 7 to grade 13. They're usually 50% male and 50% female. Okay, and today we do have students from Received High that should be joined. So some of our students, they have limited academic and career guidance. Many come from underserved communities throughout Jamaica, and many are from single-parented households, and they are eager to learn new skills and to create a path for a bright future. All right, so we don't have any questions from the persons from Lucy right now, but I know that I've asked you a bunch, so I know that they'll be informed. Most of the questions I've asked based on what I think they would want to know, right? So Dream Jamaica thanks you for being here today, Mr. Swaby. We do appreciate you coming in, sharing your expertise with us, and sharing steps that we can take in order to overcome our challenges and whatever obstacles we might face in our life. We thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right. So bye, guys.